I think it's a reminder to not put most of our emphasis on materialism. Basically, we should not forsake the world of the spirit, our souls, our closeness to Hashem, our connection to Torah mitzvahs, and replace that with materialism, with amassing wealth. It's not against amassing wealth. It's saying don't do that at the expense of engaging in spirituality and Torah. So I think there are three reasons why that's not a good thing to do. The first reason is that if you're doing that, if you're completely enmeshed in materialism and seeking out your parnasa to the detriment of your spiritual life, you will be lacking reward. You'll end up being steeped in sin as a result. So that's one concern. A second concern is that in the end, you can't bring that with you to the next world. What you do bring with you is the mitzvot. Of course, we do leave behind for our family and our loved ones. It's not saying not, but it's saying if you're going to put your energies in a certain place, you shouldn't forget to invest in the spiritual world as well. So you can't take it with you. The last piece is that I think it's saying that if someone's not living a life of Torah mitzvahs and they're just very materialistic, they're lacking light and blessing. You're lacking a certain quality of life. So I think that's what the Parak Tehillim lays out a step at a time. So let's take a look at that. On page 1061, the Hebrew is kind of hard, but I'm going to read it in Hebrew with you, okay? So the Tehillim, the capital opens up with 4 lines, basically it's like an introduction. So I'm just going to read them. This is for the conductor of music of the sons of Korach. Shimuzo kolim, all the nations listen. Hazinu koyesh vechalet. Listen, all the inhabitants of the decaying earth. Gam b'nei adam, gam b'nei ish. Those who are exalted, those who are lowly. Yachad, ashir ve'evyon, a rich person and a poor person. My mouth is going to speak wisdom. Va'gut libi tfunot. My heart will share the deep teachings. Ateh lemashal ozni iftach b'chinor chirati. Okay, it's basically like lean your mind, open up to hear my message. I'm going to share it with you right now. Basically, that's the introduction. Okay, good. Yeah.
This is David Amelech doing this. Right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So that's the introduction. Now, the first case against being overly exaggerating when it comes to materialism is the idea of sin. You end up being steeped in sin if you're not growing in Torah mitzvot. That's what it says here. Lama ira bi meira. What's the reason why I might be like worried when things are bad? It says avon akevai yesubeni. The sins of my heels in the end will end up catching up with me. Things that I kind of don't think are important, I trample upon these certain mitzvot with my heels. They in the end will catch up with me because I'm not going to be living a life of Torah mitzvot. And then it says the opposite of those who don't. And it says what leads to that. Habotchim. This is all the first argument against materialism. Habotchim al chilam uvrov osham yitalalu. Those who rely on their chilam, their wealth, uvrov osham yitalalu, and because of all their wealth, they're praising themselves. Ach lo podo ifte ish lo yiten lelehim kofro. You can't pay ransom for your soul with money. You get up to heaven and you haven't done the mitzvot, you haven't lived a life of holiness and connection to God. You can't get up there and be like, okay, I know I wasn't the perfect, but here, take a donation from me. It doesn't work like that. So you can't, the lonish a pijon, you can't do a pijon for your soul. So I think it's all the theme of sins at this point. Lo yiten lehim kofro. V'ikar pijon nafshan, and your nefesh, your ransom of your soul is very, very, very expensive. You can't pay it off. Echadal leolam. V'hi od lanetzach lo yireh hashach. V'hi od lanetzach. You're going to live forever to have time to fix your ways. Lo yireh hashach. You're not going to end up dying. So that's the end of the first reason, is that you can't ransom your soul. You need to do the work, the spiritual work. Okay. So the second argument is that, as I mentioned, is that you can't take it with you. You can't take all the wealth with you. Again, you can leave wealth behind for your loved ones, and that's a positive thing. It's just saying, if you put all your energy there, you're not taking what you need to take with you, which is mitzvot, to the next world. So it says here, Ki recha chamim yamutu, yachak tzil Vavar yovedu, vazvul acharim chalam. So you see wise people, and they also die. Yachak tzil uvar yovedu, the wise people, they also die along with the non-wise people. And then it says here, vazvul acharim chalam, and they left behind all their wealth. It says, Kirbam batemu leolam, they built these houses, mishkinotam ledor v'dor. They built all these houses, karubish motam le'adamot, they named all these properties after themselves. And you're not going to bring, when you're going to be milin, you're going to be in your resting place, you're not going to bring all that honor with you, because that honor was for this world. Not going to be able to bring it with you. And you end up, your end is going to be similar to the animals. Like they die and we die. You could be so important in this world, distinguish yourself from animal in terms of your wealth and all that. But in the end, we all have a similar fate. Okay, it's kind of a little bit of a dark message, but that's why you read in the House of Mourning. Okay, so I think that's the second piece here. It has some emphasis on chelam, which is your property, and it's saying basically that you can't take that with you. The third piece is that in the end, all that's about the next world. But what about this world? Are you living a life of wisdom, of spirituality, of connection to God, of authenticity? The Torah enables one to do that in a very good way. It's not saying, again, that you can't do that through this world, but it's saying you need more. We need the spiritual side of things. And so it's saying like that. Zeh darkam kesel amo. I think that's the emphasis of the kesel, which is like foolishness. It's foolishness to just live a life of only materialism. Vachareim b'fiyim yirtusela. Katzon nishol shatu mavit yirem. Death is going to end up being their fate. V'yirduvam yisharim laboker. And it's nonsense, because in the end, the yisharim, those who are doing the right thing, are going to be in light, are going to be enlightened. They're going to be in like the boker, the morning. V'tzuram levalot sha'ol mizvul lo. Then it says afterwards, God will save my, King David saying this, God will save my soul from the netherworld. He said, God will take me. He says, don't be afraid, that somebody's going to become rich, they're going to have a great home, great house. And when they die, they can't take everything. Their kavod, their honor is not going to come with them. Here's the piece that I think is connected to this idea of living a life of blessing. Rather, the right path is in your life to live a life of bracha, of blessing. Be grateful for what you have. Don't rush to go beyond what your blessing, and live a life of blessing. And they'll praise you because you're doing the right thing. And those who don't, they're not going to live a life that's not enlightened. So basically, I think this third part is talking about blessing. It's talking about enlightenment. It's talking about basically living a life of bracha, of blessing, and good. And then the final line is Adam bi'ikar le'yavin. Somebody who is looking for all this honor doesn't understand, because in the end, their fate is going to be like the animals. Okay, it's kind of a sad way to end, right? But the message, I think, is that there's all these great arguments for living a life of Torah mitzvot. They keep you connected to Hashem. They enable you to stay away from sin. It also is one of the real things you can take with you to the next world. Torah mitzvah. Finally, it enables you to live an uplifted life in this world as well. And since we read this in the House of Mourning, to remember around death, around those who have passed, it's supposed to not only inspire us to it's not only supposed to inspire us to think about our loved one and how we want to live, but also to remember that we're all part of this cycle of life and death, and it's supposed to inspire us to kind of fix our ways and connect to what's really true in life.